Okay, we are back at the Empire State Building at the Bulova Archive. I have a bunch of really interesting vintage watches from the Bulova Archive behind me. I am with Craig from Wrist Enthusiast. If you're not familiar with Wrist Enthusiast website, he has a Instagram and of course podcast and YouTube channel, so he is basically everywhere. So definitely check him out. I will put links down below, but Craig, thank you for coming by.
Thank you
and
for
joining
having
us.
me.
And bringing your collection.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's great to kind of collaborate with people on their channels, and I've been following you for a while, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. And I've been following you, so that's
it's mutual.
It's mutual. So the feeling is mutual, and you've brought some pretty cool watches, very eclectic collection, which I like, and that's kind of how I collect. So tell us a little bit about Wrist Enthusiast, what you're doing, and how people can find you, and all of that good stuff.
So I guess it started back in 2015, so almost 10 years at this point. I was a lawyer. I was at my second law firm and wasn't completely happy. You know, I was really into watches. I collected a little bit. I didn't know nearly as much as I know now. I had always collected watches, and I was like, how do I get myself into the industry? So I had been posting on my personal Instagram account at the time some of my watches, and one of my friends said to me, like, he said two things. He'll debate one of them. The first one he said is, now my whole like explore page is just watches because you keep on posting watches. And then he was like, it's also kind of obnoxious. And I was like, okay, point taken. So I started a secondary watch account, and I picked Wrist Enthusiast because Watch Enthusiast was taken. Mm-hmm. So that was a long, thought process that went into picking Wrist Enthusiast.
I chose Watch Chris, so I can't.
Like, I like watches, and my name is Chris. Yeah. So and I was like, I can figure out how to grow an Instagram account. And I became pretty successful at it. And so I continued growing it for a long time up until 2020, 2021 pandemic, when I was like, well, like, how about a blog? And most people kind of go from blog to Instagram, not from Instagram to blog. And so I brought on Travis, who is now the editor-in-chief. He was an editor at a blog to watch, and we kind of just like launched the blog. And it's grown pretty big up until now. And then, about a year ago, we started a YouTube, and more recently a podcast. So we're kind of all over the place now, but like the main part, like the biggest kind of, our biggest channels are Instagram and the website. So, we talk about everything. I like, less expensive watches. I like really high-end watches. I don't like to kind of limit myself to what I collect or what I review or what I talk about.
We're going to start with two watches, actually.
Yes.
The two watches right here. A little bit of a space theme. Tell us about what you have here.
So the first is the Bulova Lunar Pilot with meteorite dial, and it's their newest Lunar Pilot. It's my second newest watch, I guess, because it was just released recently.
Yep.
And I'm a bit of a space nerd. My bar mitzvah was space themed.
Okay.
Awesome. I don't know if I should admit that, but it was. And so like I just like reading about like astronomy, astrophysics, so I don't completely understand everything, and like any watch that has kind of space heritage, I'm interested in, and this one, I didn't have any watches with a meteorite dial. So the Lunar Pilot, I believe, was on Apollo 15. So it's kind of like the lesser known moon watch.
Right.
It's a chronograph like the Speedmaster, but I don't know if everyone knows that this also went to the moon.
Right.
And I think it's the only other watch that went to the moon.
I believe the story behind that watch is that there was, on Dave Scott's wrist, there was a Omega Speedmaster, and he was wearing the watch and the crystal popped out.
Yeah.
And Bulova had given him a Lunar Pilot. The Lunar Pilot he had with him, but it wasn't sanctioned by NASA. So it was not a sanctioned watch by NASA, but it was a prototype that they wanted to sort of replace the Omega Speedmaster with. And obviously it didn't work, but he did wear the watch on the moon. Bulova really, I don't think even knew about it. And there were pictures and stuff like that, and it came out later. And eventually that prototype sold for like $1.7 million at auction. The Murph.
The Murph, Murph 38. So first of all, it comes on this like fake gator strap, so you have to switch it out. I know it's, I guess, true to the movie. So Interstellar's probably my favorite movie of all time. I remember when it came out, I saw it in IMAX like 5 times, and then like an additional 3 or 4 times in theaters. And you know, it kind of merged 2 things that I really love: watches and, you know, space. And so when they had the watch in the movie, I really wanted it, and they originally released it in 41 or 42 millimeters, which was a little bit big. I was trying to get the one that came in a special edition Tesseract box, which I would have bought, but that sold out immediately, sold way above retail. And so I was just like, you know what, I have some bigger watches, and 42 millimeters for a field watch is just too big. And then they released, I think it was like less than a year ago, the 38, which is the same watch, just sized down. And you know, I had it in my cart for a while. And over the summer, I was in Italy, and I was waiting for we went through duty free, and I was waiting for my flight, and I had looked at the watch, but I didn't buy it. My flight gets canceled. They bus us to some hotel outside of Milan, and the next day, we have our makeup flight. I go through duty free again, and I pull out the watch again, and I was like, I can't say no twice to this watch. It was about $100 cheaper with the VAT and everything. So I just went for it. Just wears really well. I like it for just as a watch on its own, but you know, also with the movie kind of heritage. I don't know if you call it heritage or
tie-in.
Tie-in.
Yeah, awesome.
I really
just
like
cool
it.
watches. And now we're going to get into something a little bit weird, and obviously a very popular watch. Actually, this is, I've been doing a few of these videos, and I think this is the 3rd time I'll be featuring a 15400 on one of these videos. So this is a silver dial 15400, stainless steel, Royal Oak, just a beautiful watch. I mean, and I say this in every video, the bracelet is amazing on this watch.
I've had someone come up to me and be like, is that white gold because it shines so much?
It's incredible.
Even with how beat up
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And they feel amazing in your hand. But tell us about this.
So this is the D1 Milano Sketch, and it looks a lot like a Royal Oak, but if someone tried to draw a Royal Oak from memory. And I just thought it was really cool. I'd been looking for one of these. I'd seen them kind of blow up on social media because, you know, it just looks like a Royal Oak, and I'd gone to their website and they were sold out, and I looked on eBay. There were none for sale, but the ones that had been for sale sold for it's a $200 watch. It sold for $400.
Right. It's a polycarbon is what they call it.
Polycarbon, which to me it feels like
plastic.
Rubber and plastic.
Yeah, it's like plastic.
Like rubberized plastic.
Yeah.
So I was just checking randomly one day, and it came in stock, and I was like, I'm getting this. I just bought it, and I did a couple of videos comparing the 2 watches. Yeah. I got the hate of like, how can you put that watch next to the other watch? But you know, I enjoy it, and I've actually gotten more people have asked me about this watch than any of the rest of my collection.
It's actually really interesting. It's kind of odd that it's drawn, right? Yeah. But it looks great.
I like it, and I was at an event, and a friend of mine who's also a watch collector comes up to me and said, before he saw it, he's like, Craig, I thought you were wearing a piece of cardboard as a piece of paper as a watch.
And that's why it's interesting looking. It's like, what is that? It's a conversation starter.
Yeah, it's a conversation piece. They make one in black too, which I now wish I bought both of them. But you know, this is fun. I really like it. A lot of their watches are a little bit too close to like the Royal Oak.
Yeah.
But this is, I think,
even the dial cool. Is sort of is a drawing. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wish they could have did something with the hands, because it's the only thing that's not. But even the logo is drawn on. It's very clever. It's very cute.
I wish it was automatic. That's the one thing.
Yeah, I guess it is made out of plastic, and it's kind of like a gimmick. It's
yeah.
You know. Well, speaking of automatic and speaking of heavy,
yes.
I mean, this is wow, yellow gold.
Yep. But they call it rose gold, but it looks yellow to me.
It looks yellow. This is really, they call it yellow.
This is from 2008, where
maybe it was, yeah. the mixture is a little bit different.
A little bit different now. Like I think like the rose gold's turning redder and redder over time.
Right. This is beautiful.
Yeah. So
this is insane.
37, 17, 13. And it has an ETA movement in it.
Right.
But, you know, this was the last time they made a somewhat affordable gold pilot. And you never see it in this configuration.
Never.
I got this all the way back in 2008, and I just wanted a gold watch.
And I can see that you wear it a lot.
I do wear it a lot.
I mean, you wear this. It definitely is something that you've put on your wrist many times.
Yeah.
And with good reason. I mean, it's just gorgeous. The combination of the black dial, the gold hands, and the white chronograph hand.
Yeah.
You have that little red gold sub-second hand at the 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Everything here just, it's perfect. This is a Value 7750 probably, right?
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
with the day and the date. But it feels in your hand. I mean, this is, wow.
I always say that, you know, you don't even want a display case back on this thing because you get more gold and it's heavy.
It's heavy. And then you have a solid case back, exactly. It's a solid piece of gold.
Everyone wants to see the movement, right?
Right.
But like, you don't need to see a 7750.
No,
right?
absolutely not. I mean, you do hit an extra nugget of gold on the back, so why not?
You never need to pawn it off.
Yeah, you can definitely
gold scrap.
Exactly. You can make like a giant chain with the gold from this. It's the pushers are gold.
Yeah.
You have a big screwed-in crown, and it's gold. I mean, just incredible. And then, of course, the buckle is also gold.
Yeah, this is what collectors that see my watch collection like the most.
Yes, this is I'm enamored with this, and I'll be going on eBay when I get home.
I think they're around 10 right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they made a Rattrapant version, and I think that one is a little bit more expensive, but the Pilot, like, this is the classic look. I mean, it's just classic looking, and something about vintage or neo-vintage IWC, I cannot get enough of them recently. I don't know if it's just me or if that's something that's trending now.
Yeah.
But it's...
everyone's all over the Angenoura, but I mean...
I like the Angenoura.
Pilots, and I love it too, don't get me wrong. But the Pilots, you know...
Yeah.
I want to see them, you know, do something with new or different with the Pilots.
Yeah. Let's talk about the watch that is on your wrist, because this is something special, something special, that you're doing on your own.
Yeah, so about a year ago, we were thinking of things we wanted to do with Wrist Enthusiast, and we were like, why don't we just release a watch? And I didn't realize how much work it was going to be involved and you know, now a year later, we have our prototypes, and so the brand's called Wren, which is a bird. But it's really a portmanteau of Wrist and Enthusiast, WR and E and N.
That makes sense.
So, but we didn't want it to be, you know, just like an outward, you know, Wrist Enthusiast watch. We wanted it to stand on its own while have like kind of callbacks to Wrist Enthusiast. And we want to do limited numbers, make them affordable. So it's Swiss made. We did kind of go with like the creamy hands, and we really wanted to like have this like really different gradient. I don't even know if it's blue or green, blue-green.
Yeah, blue-green. Yeah.
Aqua dial. And then the only reference to Wrist Enthusiast is actually in the crown where we put the Wrist Enthusiast logo.
Yeah, I see it.
So
big crown on there. I like
big crown. We wanted to go with the big crown.
Sapphire bezel, you were saying. So this is something that I'm going to be featuring on my channel.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing a review of this watch. If you are interested in this watch, and we'll do some you know, video of it right now so you could see it up close. But it's a good-looking dive watch. With 200 meters of water.
200 meters of water resistance, screw down crown, domed crystal.
Right.
It's actually DLC coated, but it's still steel colored just to kind of limit the scratches. We have a nice embossed
case back. And a flat link bracelet, I absolutely
love.
Which
we're actually updating a little bit.
You mentioned.
So we're tapering it a little bit more. And there's gonna be 100 of this dial color, and that's it.
Okay.
And then we have a couple other dial colors kind of in process, and then something else coming afterwards. But we're trying to keep them kind of like very tight. We don't want to make, you know, a ton of them.
Right.
You know, and just be under $1,000. I think around $900.
Okay.
Swiss made, Sleet SW200 movement. So we think that it's a good, you know, buy for that price point. And we wanted to kind of give our followers something like unique and different. And we've gotten some really good feedback so far on it.
Obviously you guys see a lot of watches, so you know what you like and what you don't like. So that's obviously going to be honed to what you guys
Yeah.
prefer. So that's actually a very good thing in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I think so too.
very cool. Normally, Rolex, not something that I feature very often here on my channel. However, I do respect, I have to say this every single time because people are like, you don't worry. But I respect and I do love Rolex. And then eventually one day I will own a Rolex. I just never have gotten one in my collection for many different reasons. But as prices have fallen, maybe
it's getting more
still the
tempting.
one that I want is the Yachtmaster Titanium, which prices have not fallen.
I wonder why they did the Yachtmaster in titanium.
I don't know. I wish they did a Submariner, but
I think it was a test, maybe?
yeah, maybe. It could, because the Submariner is 41 millimeters. The Yachtmaster's 42, right?
I believe so. They make a 40 also. But
Yeah, but I think the one in titanium is 42. So I'm not sure why, but I like it. I
like
actually
it,
really like it. I would get it, but the aftermarket prices are in the $50,000 range, $40,000 range still. And I just
get a Pelagos.
it's like, all right, exactly.
But no, I like, not to kind of go off on a tangent. I just think that titanium should be your tool watch, and the Yachtmaster really isn't.
No, it's like their elevated dive watch, but it's really it's.
What is it? 100 meters of water resistance?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, but well. Anyway, we have a date just
from 1998. So this is one of my first watches. I got as a gift, and when I got it, it's 36 millimeters. My parents were like, "This is way too big for you. You're never gonna grow into this watch." And now it's like it's almost too small for me.
Really?
But smaller watches are coming back.
Yeah,
I have the Murph, which is 38. Yeah. But I'll never sell it for sentimental reasons.
Of course not. Yeah.
But it has that engine turn bezel, which I kind of prefer to the fluted bezel even. It's just different.
Yeah.
And I really like it. And it hasn't gotten a ton of wear recently, so that's why it's in like pretty good condition. But steel Rolex.
And your parents got it for you.
My parents got it for me.
So you never see it. Never. And it's something maybe you can give to your children in the future. I mean, this is 36 is good for. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A boy or a girl. It's a great gift, and it's a great family heirloom. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I need to put it on my wrist a little bit more.
Well, you have this laying around then.
Yeah.
So you have a Daytona here. And what year is this?
2012 or 13. I think 2012.
Okay.
I got it in 2013.
Nice.
When secondary market prices were less expensive.
Right. Than they are now.
When they were less expensive than the watch retailed for.
Right, exactly. So yeah. So you've had this since basically
I was
the year after it came out. Yeah. And was this for a special occasion or just because you wanted a Daytona?
2012 was when I graduated law school.
Okay.
So this was a graduation of, I'm no longer a practicing attorney, but this was my graduation from law school present.
It's pretty awesome that you were an attorney, which by the way is pretty good job by here, and that you left that to actually follow your passion, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. But there's actually quite a few of us.
Yeah, I know. I want to be one of you guys. That's what because I
go back to law school just to quit.
No, well, I work for a company, and I wish I didn't have to work for them. I'd rather be doing this full time, but unfortunately, it doesn't pay the bills yet. So eventually, hopefully, one day I will be. But this is it's a beautiful watch.
Yeah,
and I've said this again and again every time. Because I don't handle a Rolex on a regular basis. Yeah. You're reminded, even a Rolex from 2012 that you've worn. Yeah. You've obviously worn this pretty well.
It feels solid, right?
It feels solid. It feels like a well-made watch. That I think a lot of watches that were made in 2012, if you handle them now, some of them, especially if they get worn a lot, they don't feel as good as they don't feel as good. Yeah. All right. Well, the last watch on the table is a watch that I'm very familiar with because I have this watch. This is the Mad 1 Red. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about this watch that I don't know if you had the same problem. When I got it, I wound the crown, and then the crown fell off. No, you did not have that problem.
You have the red one? Or?
I have the Mad 1 Red. I was actually very early on. I got it because I emailed them when they came out the Mad Blue.
Yeah.
Mad One in blue, and I emailed them, and I was one of the first people to. I immediately responded and paid for the watch.
Yeah.
When they sent me an email prior to it going live, or the day it came live, and I bought it immediately. So I didn't get it through any lotteries or any of that stuff. I had bought it separately. So, but
I mean, this is like a watch. So I've reviewed a couple MB&Fs, and they're crazy, and I love them. I reviewed the Aquapod. Which is
awesome.
Huge and kind of a dive watch, but
not really.
And the one of the other horological machines, the one with like the 3 barrels.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a really
HM7.
I don't remember which one.
I don't remember which.
I've always been obsessed with MB&F in general and Urwerk. The HM5 has always been like on my list, but
And I just I'm probably never going to be able to afford one. And so when this came out, I was like, I want something created by Max Busser, and so I was able to get this through the lottery. And this is I feel like the one industry watch that really only industry people kind of know.
Yes.
And and a lot of us have it.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's just fun, and it has a Miyota movement in it.
Yeah.
But the work that they did to this, just it's just really creative.
And it's made in the studio. So the people who are working on those $100,000 plus watches and what the HM7, the HM8, and all these great watches, they take time and put these together as well. So
I wonder if they're gonna. I know they came out with the green version?
They came out with the red and the green. There was some special editions. There was a pink.
Yeah.
There was a couple other special editions, like a limited edition for an Italian boutique of some sort. And
I wonder if they're gonna do anything different.
I don't know.
Like a follow-up, like a Mad 2.
I would jump on board, because I jumped on board on this. I still have it. I love it. I think it's a really, aesthetically, it may not be the best looking watch if you're really critical, but I think it's a really cool watch, especially for the price of around $3,000. There's not much out there that you're going to get that does.
It's also like a fidget spinner of watches. You just go like this, and
it's great.
Stare at
and
it,
it just could spin and spin and spin. It's awesome.
Spin.
So, all right, well, listen. Thank you so much for coming in and showing us your collection, coming to the Empire State Building and hanging out in the Bulova Archive, or the Bulova Museum, whatever you want to call it. And we've been here all day, and this has been a great review of your collection, and I'm really happy that you stopped by. Don't forget to check out, of course, I'll put a link to everything that we spoke about, the watch that's on your wrist, Wrist Enthusiast on Instagram, your website, your YouTube channel, and your podcast.
I'm really making you work for it.
So we'll put it all down there, and if you check out the description, all those links will be there.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I've been debating whether I was going to do on my own channel like a state of my collection, but I didn't even really know how to get into it. So you've done all of the kind of hard work, and I can showcase my collection.
Definitely, you should do it. People, this is what people want to see, because you have a lot of interesting little tidbits of information about your collection. It's great.
And there's always like a weird story.
Yeah,
about something.
It's what we want to know. So
this is when I got stranded in Italy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's what makes this interesting. So thank you very much, and
thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Yep, definitely. I'll come back.
Thanks.